but you sit outside. That's the problem. So sideline. One thing for sideline is you want to make sure that they're on their side and you have some sense of general alignment. So when they, in structural therapy, when they look at somebody, they do general alignment like with the ear over the shoulder over the hip over the knee over the ankle. That's how they, the plumb line looking at of the body. So when I do sideline, I want to get them in some sort of alignment. And not too collapsed forward, but literally on their side. Okay. So one thing I started doing is this. So in sideline, before I started, a lot of misalignment is represented in the pelvis and the hip, even though it might start in the feet, but it's represented in the pelvis. So I like to spend it.
Oh, thanks.
I saw that out of the corner of my eye. Opening up the hip just to get them set and then go into sideline. So I started doing this. Now watch your hip. Now watch it goes back. Look at how much that goes back. That's a hip opener. Okay? And then we can start. That felt okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start, because we're focusing primarily on gallbladder. The gallbladder meridian. Oh, open your manual. That's right, there's a free 55-page color manual with every training at Black Swan Bodywork. Free. And we have free content on our YouTube channel. Over 500 videos spanning 2 decades. Free for me to you.
But we would get this if we come to Austin.
What? Yeah.
The same manual.
Now you get something different. Okay.
It's the last 30
So
something.
get the gallbladder meridian
Page 21.
and look at the passage of just this line where it is,
Complicated.
and see how it starts on the head. So gallbladder, you know, and liver is in Chinese medicine. It's all about how the making plans, meaning having vision to see where you want to go and then move towards that goal. Okay. So a lot of times gallbladder, when it's got too much in it, it's about you're thinking too much. Look at the meridian, how it zigzags back and forth. It's like you're thinking, and if you don't actually start doing, I got a lot of tension. So gallbladder is associated a lot with headaches, migraines, overall frustration.
Gallbladder?
Gallbladder. Because look at the location. Oh, you're not on the page. Well, when you get to that page, you'll see.
21.
Page 21.
My 21 and your 21
That's,
is not good.
no, here, let me help you.
Okay, so we're going to start like this. So one knee up against them, 1 foot above their head. We're going to start with palmar compression and just right in to the head. Just for some nice general loosening. Palmar. Right? Just to get some nice loosening here. Now, gallbladder 1, which is a good point to start with, is called one of the clearing points. So it helps ease the pressure in the head, clears the mind a little bit. And it's at a juncture where the sutures come together, so it helps open up. So if you look at the orbit of the eye, the bones, and where it comes together, that's called a canthus. Okay, so if you feel on yourself, please. Feel on yourself, you feel where it comes together. And if you go a finger width behind that and press in, you'll feel a little indentation. That's gallbladder 1. So this is a good point to do on people just if they have headaches, just trying to clear their head a little bit, or yours. And then you can go right into compression. Come over here, everybody. So gallbladder comes around, and then it comes up underneath the occipital ridge. So our friend, the occipital ridge. So you feel for the mastoid process. And the thumb width back, you'll feel a little indentation. That's gallbladder 20. It's called wind pond. And it's called that because this energy has a tendency to stagnate there.
Question real quick. I thought right in that area, isn't that also where your sinuses is?
Which one?
I thought it was also right here.
Okay, here. Gallbladder 20. Now, to get this point a little even clearer, we go like this. I'm going to put my hand above the shoulder and take my thumb and put it right in the point. And rather than pushing aggressively here, I'm just going to place my thumb there but depress the shoulder. Okay?
She's smiling, yes it is.
Okay. And then I'm just going to come right down the neck, right to the top of the shoulder. And here's another important gallbladder point. Again, this is the one I was talking to you about, gallbladder 21, which is on the highest portion of the trapezius, halfway between the base of the neck and the shoulder. So right about there, you'll feel a little tension, a little lump there. And there's a lot of different ways to work it. In this position here, I just put my fingers here and just roll right into it like this. I'm flipping over. And then I'm going to take my hands, intertwine, and then just lean back to stretch the neck. And you can see there's some tightness here because the head comes up pretty quickly. So intertwine, lean back. Now, the shoulder girdle then, you know, we have a tendency to come forward now. So when you think about it, the prime suspect here is not so much pec major but pec minor, because pec minor, just below pec major, it's more of a 45-degree angle and it attaches on the coracoid process. So it has a tendency to pull the shoulder anteriorly. So to alleviate some of that, we're going to do this sequence. So we're going to, my hands are on either side here. I'm just going to do some nice range of motion first. And then let the shoulder fall backwards, forward. And then when you let the shoulder fall forward, you see the you see the accentuation of the vertebral border of the scapula. And so I'm going to take my pads of my fingers, place them there, and then I'm going to bring onto my fingertips, and then I'm going to lean back this way to the side. I'm hooking up underneath the scapula. I like that you're leaning sideways. Scapula, and get a nice stretch.
Thank you.
So the hand here is helping it go into that stretch, and you move down towards the inferior angle. It's a crime scene now.
We are a crime scene.
Red tape.
Sorry.
Okay? Y'all understand this now. I'm showing only once.
Yes.
It's exclusive showing. I know
It appears on YouTube.
it's all goes public. Okay, here. But that's only half of it. Then we want to stretch here. Now, to stretch the pec minor, because it goes at an angle, I use the arm up, over the head, and then back. Because that replicates the angle. You feel that? Yes? Because if you do here, you're not stretching pec minor. You do it up here, you're not stretching pec minor. But straight up, overhead, here. And if you're working on somebody that's it's real tight or they're real big, put your hand on the back of your neck. Put my forearm here, use this as a lever. So it's my body weight going right distal to the hip, where it's in the upper fibers of gluteus medius, and there's a little softness there. This is where my forearm fits, and this is a lever stretch. Right? Okay, so now more here, and this will be the last two techniques. So after that, come up, foot resting here, stabilized against my side, so I have two hands to work with. Okay. And I'm going to first address the pec major. This is all for shoulder girdle. Pec major, and then the muscle underneath of the pec minor. So for pec major, so the pec major, when it tightens, not only does it tighten towards the center because of its attachments on the sternum, but the fibers underneath it curl under towards the center. So you can release it one way, but to get the fibers underneath it out more. So what to do? My thumbs are going to go up underneath pec major, like this. So it's like a pincer grip, and then I'm just going to lean back and curl those fibers out. No grimacing on the video. It's bad for sales. So, but dig this, it's lovely actually. So this arm here, right, so you can use both hands. Pec major. And you want to be conscious of not going down too far so you're engaging breast tissue, right? You got to be conscious here, right? So here, inhale, I'm squeezing, and then my thumbs are going like this. So I'm rolling out them fibers underneath.
So you're getting all underneath them?
All up underneath them. And then it's rolling out like that. 100 times. 100 times. 98. 99. 100. So you do it until it loosens. But those fibers underneath, very important to loosen pec major. Now pec minor. People do all sorts of techniques for pec minor, awesome. If you can get at it, great. Some of them are pokey, a little intrusive, some of them are better than others. Here's one way of doing it. I'm going to take the arm up like this, take the pads of my fingers, and come up underneath the newly loosened pec major. And rather than poke around to try to find pec minor, I'm just going to take my fingertips and feel for the ribs. And then I'm going to slide up the ribs until it bumps into the lateral side of pec minor. It'll just go right to the front door of pec minor. There's no other place it can go if you're on the ribs. Rather than poking around underneath there, because then people get defensive, you just place your pads on the ribs and then just slide up, and you're going to bump right into the lateral border of pec minor. And you can do digital compression to release it. It's okay. Let's see that breath you just took. Or else you can do our friend pin and stretch. And that's wicked good. And don't get married to one spot. I mean, you want to go into the muscle, and you can feel clearly the lateral border of pec minor. No problem. Pin, stretch. Okay, pin. Okay? But one other thing before we quit. The shoulder, particularly gallbladder 21, sometimes better served from this position. Because you can stretch the body easier this way using the palm of your hand. Anytime you can have some natural contact where the bodies fit together is good. So head of the humerus, palm of the hand, meet the head of the humerus. So here, stabilize here and just lean in with this, using your body weight, right? Easier. And then for the point, if you use the ear and just follow it down, you go right into the point. And here's the point here. So in this position, again, I'm leaning in, so I can do nice stimulation easy just this way. On bigger people, what I've done is this. So I'm leaning my body weight and my patella to do the point. Is that pressure okay? I've also done this, where I use the forearm and go into the point. So again, knowing the point is one thing. How you use your body to address it is a whole other thing. right? Because it's a compromise between you and the person you're working with, always, you know. So don't get tied into one way of it. You know where the muscle is, you know where the point is. Look what is the best way to approach it. You keep a big sky mind about it. Always with good intention, always with proper, hopefully, pressure to ease in. But you got to look at it with a looser mind, okay? So this approach is here for loosening this, pec major, pec minor, very good. Okay, thank you.